What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of Storytime Tuesday, where I'm going to tell you a little story related to photography and maybe throw in kind of a quick lesson here, okay? So today I'm talking about my trip to Pennsylvania this past weekend and, you know, one or two little lessons I've learned on it. First off, before I go any further, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. As you know, we're doing giveaways throughout 2018, everything from cryptocurrency and gift cards to camera equipment, watches, and even a $5,000 Rolex once we hit 50,000 subscribers. That being said, let's jump into this. Please know that anything that I talk about today, I'm not complaining, okay? I have no room to complain. I'm abundantly blessed. I have absolutely no room to complain. And so during my trip, people had it much worse off than I did. So what was my Pennsylvania trip? I've got a couple that I'm working with. I'm doing their wedding on January 20th of 2018, like a couple weeks away, and they wanted to get photos in the snow. They're avid snowboarders, and they wanted to get photos and video footage in the snow on one of their favorite skiing resort mountains. And so they hired me as kind of an add-on to their wedding package to drive from my home in Suffolk, Virginia to Seven Springs Mountain Resort in Champion, Pennsylvania. Now, it's about a 6 to 7 hour drive. 2 days before the trip, it snowed what they're calling a blizzard in Southern Virginia. Not a real blizzard, but I think we got, I don't know, 12 to 18 inches of snow on the ground, and so that made the trip really difficult. I did make it. I left early Saturday morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning. I drove. It took about 8 hours to get there. Got there. Beautiful scenery, checked into my hotel, everything was going off without a hitch. Got to the resort where my clients were staying, and it was just beautiful. Like, the snow was falling gently, and the sun was kind of behind these translucent gray clouds, and so you kind of got like almost like a lonely kind of golden sunlight coming through. It was really, really spectacular. So we got some good snowboarding shots of them with the with their snowboards and their gear and dressed out, playing in the snow. Really romantic, fun stuff. That shoot took about 40 minutes. It was -5 Fahrenheit, and the wind was blowing at like 10 or 15 miles an hour. So it was brutally cold. I cannot explain to you how cold this was. If you are someone that lives in the South or, on the West Coast, where it doesn't really get very cold, it's just incredible. Like, it's incredible how cold it can get, okay? But that was nothing compared to the next morning. So after the shoot that Saturday evening, went back to my hotel. I grabbed a salad from Ruby Tuesdays. I went in there and got the salad bar, ate as much as I could, because that's my travel tip, okay? Travel tip number 1, always find a healthy buffet and gorge yourself on healthy food. So I always find a salad bar, cram my face with as much salad as I can possibly fit in my stomach, and that kind of holds me over. It's wonderful. Okay, and so went back to the hotel, did my little Saturday night kind of YouTube video on my phone, went to bed, woke up early the next morning. Gotta hit up that hotel free breakfast because, hey, I'm paying for it. I want to eat some of that food. Had some good old orange juice, a bagel, a muffin, and then I headed out for the second part of this shoot. Went back up to the resort where they were, and for this particular part of the shoot, they wanted to be dressed in their wedding garments, and so they wanted this to be sort of their first look, but on the snow mountain, and honestly, it could not have turned out better. We started the shoot at about 9 a.m. Because of the time change, and we're in winter, we had a very low sunrise. Even at 9 a.m., the sun was very low, and while I am not a fan of really getting pictures with my subject facing the sunlight, it just turned out spectacular. Like, I'll show the images in a few minutes here, but it was almost like they were in a studio. Like, it almost looked like a backdrop. You're gonna think it's a backdrop whenever you see it. Oh my goodness, I was blown away. Not at my ability, but just how beautiful the scenery was. The scenery was just amazing, amazing. So we did the shoot, and what we did is I put the bride, her name is Shalong, I put Shalong out on the ski run, or the ski trail, whatever, where they ski and they snowboard. I put her out there, and her backdrop was these evergreen trees with snow heavy laden upon them. And then the groom was on his snowboard in a tux up on the top of the mountain. Now, let me explain to you the weather conditions on this Sunday morning. When I left my hotel, it was minus 12 degrees outside. With the wind chill and the humidity factor, it was minus 22. I have never been in minus 22. The coldest I've ever been was like minus 5 or 6. So this was a whole new world for me. So fast forward back to the mountain. He's on his snowboard. He comes down. Beautiful moment. They see each other. The love in their eyes. Xiaolong is standing in the snow in her wedding dress. That's why I'm not complaining. I was outfitted. Like, I brought all my cold weather gear. I was warm, right? I was warm. I had my overalls. I had my big snow boots. I had a jacket, that ugly blue jacket that I'm always wearing. It's so warm. I had my beanie and a face mask and gloves. I was warm. She's standing there in a wedding dress, and he's in a tuxedo. Nothing, like, that's it, just a tuxedo. Like, he's dressed for the wedding. So they had their first look. It was beautiful. We got some stunning first look portraits. I'm so happy with the way it turned out. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I was a little bit nervous about this photo shoot. Driving, you know, 6 or 7 hours away in the snow and not sure what to expect, not sure what the weather conditions were gonna be, not sure if I would have like all the gear that I needed. By the way, I brought everything. So that was kind of a tip. Like, when you're unsure of your conditions, where you're going, what you're doing, bring the whole thing. Bring all that you've got, because you don't know. Okay, so I brought everything. I brought every single lens, every single battery. I bought extra batteries. I brought all my cameras. I brought 3 camera bags. I brought microphone equipment and all my lights and stands and umbrellas and softboxes. I brought everything. Did I use it all? Not even close. I used very little. In fact, I think the only thing that I used was my camera with a 70-200 2.8 lens. That's what I used for the entire shoot, both days. And then like a few memory cards and a few different batteries. Another tip here, the reason I used multiple batteries is because, like I shared on my Simple Tips Saturday video, extremely cold weather has the tendency to really just suck the life out of your batteries. And this can be like, I noticed my phone was dying really fast. I noticed that my camera batteries were dying really fast. My SD cards were not downloading the images very quickly. They were really lagging. I even got a couple of card errors. I don't know if that's like because moisture had built up, you know, from the humidity in the air, or it was a very high humidity up there in the mountains. It was just different than where I'm from here in southeastern Virginia. But anyways, so my tips for this would be, you know, bring all your gear when you're unsure of where you're going and what you're doing. Batteries, 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 right? Memory cards, memory cards, memory cards, and then be open to anything as it comes your way. I'm a person that likes to have control. I like to know what's going on. I like to just kind of have an idea of what's going to play out. And with this, I had nothing. I knew the people I was meeting there. I had an address. That's basically it. I had nothing else to go on. Luckily, it turned out so good. So without further ado, I'm going to show just a few images that I got while on the mountaintop, and I hope you like them. Thanks for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Let me know what you think of this video. Remember that our #1 goal for 2018 is to feed 500 hungry families at Thanksgiving time. We're going to do this by growing the channel to 50,000 subscribers, building an income off of the views from this channel, right? So the more people watch videos, the more income we get, the more people we can feed. So with that being said, subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you on the next video. Enjoy these pictures.